you guys hold the position? Do you hold the position that Muhammad is the comforter that Jesus spoke about, the Paraclete?
Yeah, like I can like first it was viewed, the Parakletos was viewed as a prophetic, like salvic, human-like figure, right? And people confused it historically, even church fathers confused it with what was his name? Montanus, right? Mani, and even Paul. Even Paul, Origen's disciples, like believe that the Parakletos was Paul, right? Tertullian, I think he like was a follower of like Montanism. Montanism, if I'm saying the name right? And he like believed that the Parakletos was Montanus, right? And then even Augustine for 9 years, right, before he like apostated from this belief, believed Mani, M-A-N-I, was the Parakletos, right? So like historically, we do see like early on, the Parakletos was like a human-like salvic figure who comes after Jesus, who guides the people into all truths. And then later on, the theological development just attributes this to the Holy Spirit, right? So let me show you some sources if you'd like, right? And then
I just want to know if you believe that Muhammad is the comforter. That's all I wanted to know.
I think
Yes
there's
or
a strong
no?
argument. I think there's a strong argument to be made that yes, like the Parakletos was supposed to be a prophet-like
good.
figure
Can we stop there? Can we stop there, bro? That's all I needed. That's all I needed. You said, yes, I believe that Muhammad is the comforter. That's it. Okay. Let's talk about John 14, 15, 16. Now, Jesus says that when I go away, I will send the comforter. That's what he said. He says,
yeah. And real quick, I just want to know your stance. Do you believe it's the Holy Spirit?
I do believe it's the Holy Spirit.
Was the Holy Spirit already with them prior or post to when Jesus ascended into heaven?
The Holy Spirit was already with the disciples. That's what Jesus said.
So the Holy Spirit was already with the disciples prior to Jesus ascending, and then Jesus says, "I have very much to tell to you, but you cannot bear them now. For when I have to be ascended into the heaven." Basically, he says like all throughout the Gospel, John 14, 15, 16. He says, "I have to be ascended into the heaven, and then the Parakletos can come to you." Then the Parakletos, wherever like this word may mean. Right, a lot of people have like a lot of different interpretations. Some leave it as it is, and they say like, "Oh, it could just be a title or like a name," and some try to translate it using like para and kletos, and like I've seen some people even connect it to like the praise one, and they could like show that it can mean the praise one, right? Which would be like what Ahmed means, right? But when it comes to this, like the Holy Spirit was already with the disciples. If you read John chapter 20, verse 21 through 23, when Jesus breathed the Holy Spirit onto the people and said, like, now they're given authority to forgive sins, the Holy Spirit was already with them prior. So why does Jesus have to go for the Holy Spirit to be sent if the Holy Spirit was already with them? It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, because the reason is that the Son had to be glorified for the Holy Spirit to come on the day of Pentecost.
That doesn't make any sense.
You're assuming your interpretation, though.
No, I'm not assuming my interpretation
let me finish. You are assuming your interpretation because the plain reading of the text doesn't suggest that. The plain reading of the text says in John chapter 16 that Jesus says, "It is for your good that I go away, for unless I go away, the Comforter, the Parakletos,